Well, hello there. It is Monday, November 2nd, 2020. You can now relax and be informed. Here is your daily bite of news. Atlanta's Mayor Keisha Bottoms has declared a state of emergency as cleanup from Tropical Storm Zeta continues across the southeast. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey and Louisiana Governor John Edwards also had issued state of emergency orders ahead of Zeta's arrival. The order will divert more resources to help with the cleanup efforts and survey the full extent of the damage. An estimated 30,000 residents remained without power in Georgia statewide as of Saturday night. 6 deaths have been blamed on the storm. The world's strongest storm this year killed 10 people in the Philippines, while forcing about 390,000 more to evacuate before leaving land late Sunday. Super Typhoon Goni ripped off roofs, felled trees, and left thousands of homes without electricity in the Philippines' main Luzon island. Some people were swept away by flood from a ruptured dike. Several people may have been buried alive after about 300 houses were covered by rocks in Guino, Bataan. This cyclone comes days after Typhoon Molav lashed the Southeast Asian nation, leaving at least 22 dead and causing a minimum of 1.8 billion pesos of damage to crops before heading to Vietnam. Goni is following a similar route. The storm is currently the equivalent of a Category 1 hurricane on the U.S. 5-step Saffir-Simpson scale. Tropical Storm Eta, which swirled to life over the weekend in the Caribbean, intensified Sunday and is expected to become the 12th Atlantic hurricane of 2020 early Monday. Eta is the 28th named storm of a historic season, which has tied 2005 for most storms on record. The slow-moving system will deliver a rain-soaked punch to the Nicaraguan coast Monday night or early Tuesday and could cause life-threatening flash floods, dangerous storm surge, and damaging winds over portions of Central America. Supporters of President Trump riding in trucks surrounded a Joe Biden campaign bus on a Texas highway on Friday, prompting alarmed staffers to call 911. Biden campaign officials said afterwards that they feared the Trump trucks might run their bus off the road. The FBI is investigating the incident. On Sunday, caravans of Mr. Trump supporters blockaded the Governor Mario Cuomo Bridge and the Garden State Parkway, stopping and disrupting traffic on 2 of the busiest highways in New York metropolitan area. Videos taken by motorists showed the president's backers parked in the middle and westbound lanes of the bridge. A number of them exited their vehicles in the rain and waved Trump banners and American flags as motorists honked their horns at them. The Texas Supreme Court on Sunday denied an effort by Republicans to throw out more than 120,000 votes that had already been cast at drive-through locations in Harris County, leaving Republicans' only remaining option at the federal level. The lawsuit contends that the 10 drive-throughs voting sites in Houston, the nation's 4th largest city, are operating illegally and are arranged in locations that favor Democrats. More than 120,000 voters had already cast ballots at the site, and the number could grow to more than 135,000 through Election Day on Tuesday, said Susan Hayes, a lawyer for Harris County. She said county officials plan to vigorously challenge the suit, which she described as an act of voter suppression. Edward Snowden, the former National Security Agency contractor who disclosed top-secret U.S. spying programs, said Monday he would seek Russian citizenship. Snowden, 37, and his wife Lindsay are expecting a baby, and he cited the child as motivation to seek U.S. Russian citizenship on his Twitter page on Monday. Lindsay and I will remain Americans, raising our son with all the values of the America we love, including the freedom to speak his mind, Snowden wrote on Twitter, and I look forward to the day I can return to the States so the whole family can be reunited. Russian President Vladimir Putin granted asylum to Snowden in 2013, sparking a major diplomatic confrontation with the then administration of President Barack Obama. Last month, the whistleblower was granted permanent residency by Russia. The police in Quebec City in Canada said on Sunday that they had arrested a man dressed in medieval garb and brandishing a katana sword after a series of stabbings on Halloween night left 2 people dead and 5 others wounded. The incident unfolded near the National Assembly around 10:30 p.m. and he was arrested at 1 a.m. The police identified the suspected attacker as Carl Giraud, 24, and said he came from a suburb northwest of Montreal. Mr. Gerard, who appeared before a judge via video conference on Sunday, was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. The police chief of Quebec City, Robert Pigeon, said the suspect was not known to be associated with any terrorist organization, and the mayor suggested that mental illness might have been a factor. The chief said that some of the 5 wounded people, who were all residents of Quebec City, had been severely cut, but that their injuries did not appear to be life-threatening. As the United States adds new coronavirus cases, hospitals from West Texas to Wisconsin are overwhelmed with the soaring number of critically ill Americans. In many cases, it's not a lack of hospital beds, therapies, or equipment that worry the managers about this surge. It's the depleted and exhausted hospital staffs needed to care for those who need treatment. In Wisconsin, hospitals are opening makeshift ICU wings even as they desperately look for nurses and other staff for the facility. With contract workers working side by side with full-time staffers, Arizona hospitals averted the deadly initial surge. Banner Health CEO Peter Fine worries, though, that hospitals can't depend on stopgap staffing again. Staffing agencies that place travel nurses in hospitals and clinics say they've never been busier. Hospitals in nearly every state are recruiting contract nurses to fill shifts, and those pandemic-driven jobs often pay crisis rates that swell compensation 20% to 30% above normal rates, especially for in-demand jobs like nurses with ICU experience. Even full-time nurses are leaving hospital jobs to take lucrative gigs. All these extra requests mean travel nurses can command higher pay. Pretty much every nurse who wants a job right now in the United States has a job, said one official. The police in Hong Kong arrested 7 pro-democracy politicians early Sunday over a heated meeting back in May when the local legislators' chambers were filled with protest over a battle for control over a key committee, and brawling broke out. An 8th politician was arrested on Monday. The arrests come as the governments in Hong Kong and Beijing have carried out a broad effort to clamp down on dissent after a year of intense protests in the semi-autonomous city. Since the first arrests were announced on Sunday, the police have faced questions about why no pro-establishment lawmakers were arrested over the fray. The police deny any political motive. A wide-reaching national security law imposed on the city by Beijing at the end of June imposes potentially tough penalties for a series of poorly defined offenses, such as subversion and collusion. A North Carolina pastor, Daniel Chalmers, who is accused of urinating on a woman while she was sleeping during a flight, stepped down from his position at his Riley church. We take these matters very seriously. This behavior is not a reflection of Catch the Fire Church, our leadership, and its members. While we are investigating the matter, he was immediately suspended, and we have now subsequently accepted his resignation and his sincere, heartfelt apology to everyone involved, said the church. Alicia Beverly accused Daniel Chalmers of peeing on her on a Delta flight 874 from Las Vegas to Detroit on October 13th. Alicia told authorities that she woke up feeling something warm on her body and saw Chalmers standing over her while in her seat. Chalmers later admitted to police that he took prescribed medication and was drinking, according to the police report. Prince William, second in line to the British throne, tested positive for coronavirus early this year, according to the BBC. When exactly William was infected is unclear. In March, William's father, Prince Charles, himself tested positive and had to go into isolation. The 71-year-old later said he had been lucky to only experience mild symptoms, adding he'd got away with it quite lightly. Japan's new 2050 deadline for carbon neutrality has thrown a spotlight on its efforts to find new, greener fuel options, including an ambitious but controversial liquid hydrogen venture. It has invested heavily in hydrogen, which produces only steam and no carbon dioxide when burnt, making it the focus of some interest. Japan currently produces hydrogen domestically in liquid and compressed gas forms, mostly from natural gas and oil. The hydrogen energy supply chain is an experiment to see whether Japan can establish a durable supply of liquid hydrogen from Australia to be burned to generate electricity. Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko partially closed the country's land borders and replaced his interior minister and named 3 security hawks to new roles on Thursday in an attempt to tighten his grip after months of mass protest. Lukashenko also ordered the strengthening of armed volunteer militia units. Belarus's president threatened to leave protesters without hands on Friday, sharpening his rhetoric as hundreds marched through the streets and rallied outside universities. Belarus police denied torturing protesters despite evidence to the contrary from citizens. U.S. Democratic candidate Joe Biden has said he will expand sanctions on top of what's already been put in place on what he described as Lukashenko's henchmen if he wins Tuesday's presidential election. Well, that will do for today's news. If you would like to read up on these topics, please see our description for our sources. Subscribe to receive a daily news update. Thank you for listening. Be relaxed, be informed, but be connected.